Harold Aitkenhead speaking to us today. Harold is one of 5 boys whose parents belong in Canada, the rivers of northern England coal mining. Grew up in a small town of Paris, Ontario, and was engaged in a number of sports. Harold went to Mohawk College, spent 2 years with the Royal Bank, then spent 5 years becoming a journeyman machine fitter, building of heavy construction equipment. He married Christine in 1962. He completed his Salvation Army studies at Salvation Army College and became an ordained Salvation Army officer in 1973. Harold in his studies specialized in the fields of pastoral counseling, chaplaincy, and correctional justice services. During his 52 years as an active member of the Salvation Army, as an active officer of the Salvation Army, Harold has held a number of executive positions in the field of corrections, healthcare services, and was Assistant Social Services Secretary for the Salvation Army Canada for 7 years. Harold enjoys gardening, reading, and things for his children, their families. Harold enjoys following English Premier League and the NHL hockey in his time in the U.S. Harold?
It all seems like far away dream a long time ago. But here we are, still standing. And Bob asked me if I would share some thoughts about expressing gratitude in a stormy world. He said that I was man of gratitude, so I would probably have a lot to say. Well, I was thinking about this, and I said, well, I wonder what our executive board would have thought about what kind of answer they would come up with. And so here's what they said. What do you do when the world seems a little iffy? Fly around, flip from tree to tree, sure. Be a good bird. It's not much, but it's something. It's more than something. It's a lot. So no matter how much our contribution is, we all are people of grateful to where we've come from and where we are at the present time. And this morning, rather than center on just the larger world, I thought it would be helpful to consider how we express thankfulness in our own individual worlds. The starting point of our own world has been different for each of us. Throughout life, I think I can safely say, no matter what our beginnings were, we all have had our ups and our downs. And my comments this morning are not meant in any way to be dismissive of any pain, loss, or trauma that at times has overtaken us. Bringing up 2 children impacted by a genetic disorder called Fragile X, which causes cognitive impairment and limitations in mobility, though challenging, caused Christine and I to recognize what we are truly thankful for. So in my words today, I'd like to look at what does gratefulness look like? What are the benefits of being grateful? And how to grow our gratitude? What does being grateful look like for you? It's all about the small things. I'm thankful for everything, even small things. When we reflect on that, there's so many small things that have happened in our lives that just draw us to that moment of when we're filled with gratefulness. And I don't believe it's just the big things we've accomplished, but it's more about the many moments which we have experienced that are the wow moments, which we have least expected. Moments that remain in our mind and in our imagination forever. Gratefulness experiences stays with us. I remember early on in life as a youngster, we as small little guys, always in difficulty and trouble. My mother and father chased us all over the place to find us, but eventually we came out of the woods or came out of the bushes and came home. We had often gone fishing in this little creek, and we had high hopes of catching a whale or 2, or on a piece of string and a safety pin. Then one day, following what felt like a mighty tug, I pulled up my catch,
and with my boots filled with water, I proudly slushed my way home to show Dad my 4-inch long whale. And for me, that was just so exciting. I never forgot that first catch. And so it's the small things. I had the privilege back in '97 to be appointed to our International College for Officers in London, England for 9 weeks. Quite a different experience, mixed with 37 people from all over the world, and talked about our resources, how we dealt with things, and caught new opportunities of extending our work and all of that. But one day we had the opportunity to tour St. Paul's Cathedral. Now, St. Paul's Cathedral, center of London, at the bottom of St. Paul's Cathedral, there's what they call St. Peter's Way. And at the bottom is the international headquarters for the Salvation Army. So everybody that needed something came out of St. Peter's Bay and went to the Salvation Army. But this one day I was having a tour in St. Paul's. And in the middle of the St. Paul's Chapel, there was excavation work going on. And passing by the workman, I asked if I could have a piece of the old flooring for a keepsake. And to my surprise, he tossed a piece my way. I caught it, and he just said, "Get on your way." And here it is, a piece of granite from the floor of St. Paul's Cathedral. So it always reminds me of those moments and how grateful I was for the opportunity of having the history and understanding all of what that large cathedral could tell us. What does being grateful look like for you? Sometimes it doesn't come out the way we hope it to. And here's Charlie Brown saying, life is like a camera, and he says, focus on certain things, capture the good. Sometimes we have to redevelop the negative things. Take time sometimes to take another shot, take another look, pick up something from that moment that you can hold on to and value. And my second, it's good to know even when things don't feel that good or that great, we can take a second shot, reframe the situation, and focus on some meaningful thing that came out of that experience in life. What are the benefits of being grateful? I read some literature that Rob passed my way, and in that literature from the Harvard Health publication in Psychology Today, says these are some of the benefits. 3 things I'd like to highlight. First of all, because of gratitude, and because we can be grateful, we can have improved well-being and mental health. Gratitude is linked with lower levels of depression and stress, better sleep, fewer negative emotions, and higher life satisfaction. Now, if we can top those all off, we're doing really well. But we know life doesn't run that smooth. But recently, just this year, a longitudinal study of 49,000 nurses were published on the habitual practice of gratitude, which can be defined as reminding oneself to be thankful to others for the good things that happen in life. And the study identified all of those things which are mentioned, which improved our well-being and mental health. So they are true, that we can move away from depression, move away from stress, have better sleep, and fewer negative emotions. Secondly, another benefit is stronger coping and resilience. Now, in our time, one of the biggest tests for all of us was in the time of the crisis of COVID-19. People who report more gratitude seem to have been able to adapt more readily, they perceive more meaning, comply better with health precautions, and stayed more motivated. The third is a greater connection with others. Gratitude tends to increase feelings of being tied to others. It encourages us to give, it strengthens our relationships, and it shows how social connections are so vital and so important. And our club shows that every day, every time we meet, how important it is to be with others. And in summary, I would say the benefit is that gratefulness acts as a lens through which we can view our experiences. It reminds us that even amidst hardship, there are blessings waiting to be recognized. Gratitude may not eliminate challenges, but will undoubtedly enhance our capacity for joy and appreciation, even when life gets tough. And our club has many of those experiences in recent weeks and days, that even when life gets tough, we can look forward to something better. Here's a little shot about a tennis player who this August won, along with their partner, the doubles championship in the US Open. We're hoping this comes up. No, I'll just say that if it doesn't come, Gabriela Dabrowski had this past year was just coming back from her fight with breast cancer. And through the year, she adapted some drills with the help of one of her coaches to be able to get back into her conditioning. But she says in this, with Adrian Arsenault, she conveys how she gained ground because of the respective of gratitude. When she started to compete again, that whole mindset helped her to gain ground.
Congratulations. Like, I love the sounds of 2 times US Open doubles.
You gotta go to 4
What is
minutes
that?
and 10 seconds. That's okay. She said that I said to myself, you have a great life, be happy for it, and you are one of the lucky ones. And she went on with that attitude, and her partner won the US Open in August of this year. Then we'll just go to the slide with peanuts. Some peanuts on the bench. Thanks for your patience. There it is. It says here, what are the benefits of being grateful? There will always be hard days, but we'll get through those, and we'll be surprised. Oh, back up a wee bit. There we go. There we go. There will always be hard days, but they don't erase the good ones. Keep going. There's still joy waiting to surprise you, to surprise me in our walk from day to day. And we often say, I can't find that moment. I can't really discover again those good feelings. So how can we grow? As my third thought is, how can we grow our gratitude? And I believe it's really important to be true to ourselves and not feel we need to act a part, when in the moment it's not within us to feel cheerful, happy, and bubbly. But we can get past that. There are other choices that we can make that help us to get past that state of mind. Now, here are some ways that we can do that. When faced with uncertainty, pause to find one thing you can be thankful for in that situation. And that pause can last a long time because it's really hard to get out of that negative mindset. But we can. Another thing to do is to share gratitude publicly or with others. Send a message. Share an appreciation note. Tell someone what they mean to you. It's an action that we can take to move ourselves to find gratitude for the situation we face. Do something that brings a smile to your face. Now, I did something this morning when I came in here, and I don't know whether Roger's still here or not.
No, he left.
I said to Roger, I feel that you've suffered a great loss this week. And he, last week in our meeting, said that he was hoping for the New York Yankees to come out on top. So I said, you need a partner to be with you to work through this. So I gave Roger this partner.
Is that part of your grace program?
And he said he'd make good use of it.
Very fitting for New York Yankees.
Another thing we can do is just brew ourselves a cup of tea. Sometimes just the ritual of making tea can be calming and meditative. As you sit and feel the warmth of that cup, you can also think of the good things, the drinkable water that we have. Or, like Jim Davis, just put on your favorite socks. Don't underestimate how good a pair of socks can make you feel. I'm not going to ask Jim to show his socks, of course not. But out of gratitude comes the opportunity to give back, to be kind. And you'll see here this little verse here that says, be kind to everyone you meet. One small daily dose of kindness can soothe the mind, heal the heart, and strengthen the soul. And at your table, I have put these little cards that said, a moment to share with others at your table. And there's a matchstick. Did anybody find that matchstick at your table? So someone hold that so I can see it. There you go. Now, you've just guaranteed the opportunity for you to share your gratitude. And pass that match to somebody else at the table. We're just going to be quiet for a while, and you just have that chit-chat. And on the sheet, there are a couple of things that you can be involved with. One thing from the past you're grateful for. Something in the present you're grateful for. How have you shared your gratitude? So just take that moment to talk to each other. We all have something to be thankful for. Sometimes we don't verbalize that, but sometimes we benefit from sharing those things. So just take that moment in time, and then I'll signal when we can close off our time together. But go ahead, share some good things. Thank you, everyone, for participating. I hope you've benefited from sharing these moments.